Hi guys, it's Alli. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Zoya's holiday collection. So intriguing is the collection, and it's available on the Zoya website right now. I will have that linked in the description box. I was sent these 12 polishes for my review, and I will be sharing my overall thoughts after I show you the polishes. Okay, so Zoya is 10 free. I was unable to verify their vegan and cruelty free status when I typed in both words in the search bar on their site. Nothing came up, which was weird because I know I've seen that before, but just for safety purposes, I was unable to verify them being vegan and cruelty free. Zoya at full price is $10 per polish, and you can find their polishes on Amazon, so you could take advantage of Amazon Prime shipping. And if there's a particular shade in this collection that you've seen on social media and you want to see how that specific shade performs, I do have timestamps in the description box, as well as over the time bar you can actually see the titles of the polishes and where they appear in the video, so you can check out that particular polish by using one of those two sources. For those of you who are going to be hanging around to the end of the video, I would love to hear your thoughts, so please be sure to leave those in the comment section. And that's enough chit chat. Let's talk polish. The first polish we have is Nico. This is what I describe as an aged pearly gold shimmer, and it does have some olive green undertones in it. It's so pretty. This one does have a thin consistency, but it is fairly even on the first coat. It's one of the few polishes that I would actually just wear on one without it being opaque, even though I love opacity. And that's because it just gives this nice glimmer to the nail without really adding a whole lot of pigment. It does build up quickly on two, where you are able to see more of that pigment, but it's a little bit sheer across my nail line in two. So I do need 3 for this to get opaque to the eye, and this does dry super glossy. Okay, y'all. Next up we have Eunice. Eunice is this, it's this gorgeous, almost Grinch green shimmer metallic. Look at that. It's olivey green. It gives all the feels. At first I was like, ooh, is that Grinch green? And then I Googled the Grinch and I was like, in some applications it's Grinch green. At the very least, it's very, very close to it, and so pretty. All right, so this one has a normal consistency. It's a little bit sheer across the nail line in one, but it does give you very even coverage. This gets easily opaque in 2 coats, and it dries glossy. Third up, we have Regina. Regina is what I describe as a blackened emerald green shimmer, and you can really see the blackening on the first coat, and then the green really intensifies and builds up on the second. So this one does have a slightly thin consistency. I would be a little bit wary of pulling on this one. It can pull to the sides if you put too thick of a coat down. And by that I mean if you leave too much polish on the brush with the thinner consistency, it'll just kind of drip down the sides of your nails. Other than that one, this one is pretty sheer on the first coat. It does build up nicely to be opaque and easily opaque in 2 coats, and it dries glossy. It's really, really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Our fourth polish is Meredith, and I'm going to read off Zoya's description. They describe this as a twinkling midnight sapphire blue with an icy blue light blue what? With an icy light blue shimmer. And yes, think Zoya's dream, but instead of it being a scattered hollow, it has these icy blue shimmer. It has icy blue shimmer in it. This one has a normal consistency. It can have a bit of a fussy formula if you apply a thinner coat. It dries really fast, and it can just leave your nails looking a little patchy on one. I'd say more streaky than patchy, and that's just due to the fact that it dries really quickly. So if you're adding a thinner coat's going to dry even faster. So it does have a fussy formula if you're using a thinner coat. If you use a thicker coat, you won't experience any issues with this one. You can get this almost opaque in 1 coat if you use a thicker coat, but it is easily opaque in 2 coats. And this one dries satin, but sparkly. Our fifth polish is what I have on my nails today, and oh my goodness, this polish is ridiculous with the camera. It looks like straight up blue on camera, and this is not blue at all. I mean, it does have blue undertones, but this is just like a rich, Zoya describes it as a deep royal blue violet metallic. To me, this looks straight purple. And on camera, it looks straight blue. It's insane. It's insane. I did try to get this right in my picture, but I think it still looks blue in my picture. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of sorcery is in this polish. But let me tell you, this polish is so stunning. And in person, it is this rich, almost blackened, deep violet. It is so full-bodied. It is so depthy. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk formula. All right, so for Nisha, this one has a slightly thicker consistency. If you use a thicker coat, you can get this completely opaque in one coat. If you use a thinner coat, you will have a little bit of streakiness and sheerness on the first, but it will get easily opaque in two, and it dries glossy. Sixth up, we have Koley. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. This one Zoya describes as a ruby pink metallic, which is an excellent description. It's exactly what I see here. It's definitely pink. It's pulling a little red on camera, but it's definitely a pink metallic. This one has a normal consistency. It covers really well on one, and you can get this opaque in one if you use a thicker coat. I'd recommend using 2 normal coats because it easily gets opaque in 2, and Koley dries glossy. Seventh up, we have Soko. Soko is such an interesting polish. Zoya, I cannot talk today. Zoya describes this as a wintry poinsettia red cream, and I thought that was a absolutely brilliant description of this because that is what I see here. I was going to describe it as like a tomato red cream, but I think their description works beautifully because that's what I see here. So this one has a slightly thicker consistency, but it is on the sheer side. So it's sheer across the entire nail on one. It builds up to 97% opacity on the second coat, which most people would probably consider opaque to the eye. So you can totally stop at 2, or you can take it to 3 to get a little bit more depth. And this one does dry glossy. Eighth, we have Beverly. Beverly is what I would describe as a muted burgundy cream. This one has a slightly thicker consistency. It covers absolutely beautifully in one, to the point where you could get this opaque in one with a thicker coat, but it does get easily opaque in 2, and it dries glossy. Ninth, we have Avi or Avi. This one I would describe as a smoky amethyst cream. It is really smoky. Very smoky. It's very beautiful. This one has pretty much an identical formula to the last one. It has a slightly thicker consistency, covers beautifully on one, and you can get this one opaque in one with a thicker coat, or you could just take it 2 coats, 2 normal coats, and it easily gets opaque in 2, and it dries glossy as well. And 10th up, we have Brett. Brett is described as a deep charcoal indigo cream, and I could not disagree with that. It's beautiful. You could also look at this as kind of like a really dusty denim shade. It's quite beautiful. It doesn't have a lot of purple, but there's enough purple where I can see them calling this an indigo. This one has an identical formula to the last 2, slightly slicker consistency. Yeah, that. It has a slightly thicker consistency. It can cover completely in one if you use a thicker coat, or you can just use 2 normal ones, and this one does dry glossy. All right, and 11th we have Isti, I think. This one Zoya describes as a wintry steel blue, and then it does have this beautiful sugary silver sparkle that really gives this polish, like, there's like that icy blue and then that silvery sugar sparkle. This looks like shattered ice on a pond, like an icy pond that has been shattered. It is really beautiful. It is so sparkly. It gets on the nails and it just does like its own thing. It's having its own party. You are barely invited. It is just, it's there. It's giving me all the wintry feels. So this one has a slightly thicker consistency. It covers really nicely in one. If you apply this over a blue base, like I applied this over Brett, is that right? Yeah. And I was able to just use one coat of this. So if you apply it over another polish, you can just stop at one and kind of use it like a topper. Or you can build it up on its own in two easy coats, and it's completely opaque and gorgeous and sparkly and everything you want for the winter on your nails. Like this is winter in a bottle. It is. All right, so this one does dry satin, but very, very sparkly. And our 12th polish is Lottie. So Lottie is this champagne pearl with these rose gold undertones. And oh my goodness, I can't wait to get to like my thoughts on these polishes. I want to jump ahead. Anyway, this one has a normal consistency. It covers evenly, but a little bit sheer on one. It builds up nicely on two, but it's still a little bit sheer across the nail line on me. It's definitely a sheer or polish, but I do see this as covering pretty much opaque to the eye in 3, and on a lot of people it'll easily be opaque in 3 on your nail line. If you want to ensure opacity with this, just put a white or a cream or something underneath, or similar color underneath it, and just use 1 or 2 coats and you're going to get pretty much the same effect. So don't be afraid to use it as a topper either. So those are the 12 polishes, and now we get into my thoughts on the polishes and the collection. All right, so first thoughts on the collection is wow. Like I was super impressed with this collection. However, when I first looked at it, I was like, do all these belong? I don't know. So let's go through them and let me share my thoughts. So first up, we have Nico. So Nico, it's definitely not what I would normally consider to be a holiday gold. It does have the green undertone to it, but it's definitely very beautiful, very sparkly, and it's definitely a gold. So it definitely works. How many times am I going to say definitely? It works. I like it in this collection. At first, I didn't know, and it's because it was sitting next to Eunice, and I was just like, really? For the holidays? But when you take Eunice away, it just looks like a gorgeous pale gold, right? Yeah, so I'm a fan of Nico. All right, so next up we had Eunice, and Eunice just gets us a little inching a little bit closer to Grinch. It's almost there, but not quite. I typically would reach for something like this during the fall, and pretty much exclusively during the fall, but it somehow works as well in the collection as a whole. I would not put this in this collection. If I were putting together curating a holiday collection, I wouldn't put this in it, but I love it. Don't get it twisted. I absolutely love it as a fall shade. Next up, we have Regina. Now, Regina is my cup of tea, honey. It's deep, it's rich, it's glistening green, it's depthy. It reminds me of a Christmas tree outside, lit up at night. It's beautiful. So many holiday feels with this polish. Love it. Then we have Meredith. Meredith is that gorgeous rich blue with that little hint of sparkle in it. And this is absolutely perfect for the holidays, perfect for the winter, perfect anytime. With that added little bit of sparkle in there, it's going to play against the sun really beautifully. So I love this polish. I think it's a great addition for the holiday collection. Nisha is next, and Nisha is definitely one of my standout favorites of this collection. I love this polish for the holidays. I love it for the winter. I love it for the summer. I love it for the fall. Probably wouldn't reach for a color like this during the spring that much, but it's gorgeous, and it absolutely will play off of the sun beautifully, being a metallic and having that bluish color in there. Although in person, guys, this looks straight up purple. It looks straight up violet, but It definitely looks blue on camera. It's like sorcery. I don't understand it. But anyway, this is perfect. It's gorgeous, and I would absolutely have this in my holiday collection. All right, and then Koley. Koley is definitely a Zoya shade. It's what I call a classic Zoya. So they make a lot of similar shades to this one, and in fact, usually when they put this type of shade in the collection, I usually like it because the formula is really good. It looks really juicy on the nails, so it's kind of an easy favorite, but also the color just works for Christmas as well. It's kind of that pink Christmas vibe. You know, some people go pink for Christmas. It gives you those vibes, and it's just beautiful. It sits beautifully on the nails. It will look beautifully against deeper skin tones, but I think it's going to pop against all skin tones. So definitely one that I understand why they put it in the collection. I ain't mad at it. All right, and then we have Soko. Soko is definitely a different type of shade. It's not something that I love. It's not something that I would wear that much. I just don't really like reds that much. But this one does have a unique holiday flair with that poinsettia red color. So I could definitely see a lot of people wearing this, and then some people even incorporating it as a poinsettia type color in nail art. So lots of possibilities here. Okay, Beverly is definitely a Zoya bread and butter shade. We see these a lot in Zoya's line. In fact, I don't even know if I've kept all of them, but I wish I could pull all of these out because the tones are very similar but yet very different. But Zoya just knows how to make these consistently with great formulas. These are Zoya's bread and butter. This one and the next two are kind of my shades for the collection because I just don't know if they add to the holiday feel. They kind of feel like they're there for people who, you know, don't wear colors like that. They normally gravitate toward more neutrally, purpley, red kind of colors. But hey, put something in here for everyone. Let's be inclusive. I'm all for it. So those are my thoughts on Beverly. Same with Abby. I'm not even going to spend a lot of time here. We get one of these dusty amethyst colors at least once a year, I want to say, maybe even multiple times a year. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. It has a beautiful formula and consistency. If this is your jam, you'll love it. All right, and then this color is starting to become one of those classic Zoya shades for me as well. That dusty dark blue. They're starting to do it quite frequently, at least once a year, I would say, if not more. So I don't really have... This doesn't excite me as a holiday shade, but it is beautiful. It has a beautiful consistency, a beautiful formula. So if this is a color that you're looking for, it's not going to disappoint. All right, and then I'm excited again because we have Isti. Isti is so beautiful, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that name right, but it sounded right to me. Isti is so beautiful. It's so sparkly. It's just going to be fun to wear. There are certain polishes for me that are just fun to wear. Like you put them on, you anticipate putting them on, and then they're just fun to wear, fun to look at, fun to get compliments on. It's fun to see them glisten in the sun. So this is definitely one of those. It's another pixie dust. I love Zoya's pixie dust. I feel like this is what they do really, really well and consistently really, really well. So I am obviously like really excited about this. It's also perfect for the holidays because it's not super traditional in terms of color, but the sparkliness that this brings is absolutely traditional Christmas. And then finally, we have another gem of the collection. I fell in love with Lottie. Oh my goodness. It's pure gold to me, this polish. Okay, so Lottie is one of those shades for me that is it traditionally Christmas? I don't know. I mean, it kind of reminds me of tinsel a little bit, just not quite as silver. But irrespective of whether or not it's traditional Christmas, this polish is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I don't have anything in my collection just like this at all, and I'm just loving it. It works year round. It works during the holidays. It works during the winter. It works for the spring. That sparkliness will glisten off of your nails in the summer, and it kind of cools things down, tones things down for the fall too. I also think if you're getting married, this will be a gorgeous shade to wear on your wedding day because it's both a neutral and sparkly. It's not gonna steal too much attention, but it's gonna look beautiful in photos with a bouquet. It's gonna look beautiful in photos when you're like cutting the cake. Anything that's like gonna zoom in on your nails, this will look absolutely gorgeous for you to have on. But at the same time, it's not overwhelming. It's not taking over your dress or outfit for the day, your wedding attire for the day, should I say. So I love this shade. I loved many polishes in this collection. I loved 7 of them. I kept 7 out, and then the other 5 I could do without. If I were curating a collection from here, I think I've mentioned before, I think 6-piece collections are perfect. You don't have a lot of extra shades that you just already have. At the same time, you can make such a statement. So if I were curating a collection from this collection for the holidays, these are the ones I would include. I would definitely include Nico. That gold is just so different. I love it, but it's still traditional holiday. Obviously, you guys know I love me some greens, so I'm going to put Regina in there. It's just also perfect for the holidays as well. I think I would throw Meredith in there as well. That midnight color, the sparkliness, yes. And Nisha, of course, I fell in love with this, and I do think that these violet purples are just gorgeous for the holidays. The last one I would throw in there would be, or the next to last one I would throw in there would be the one that kind of would be the shade that a lot of people would gravitate toward, and that is Koley. This one is just that classic pink, and I think a lot of people love pinks, so I think this would satisfy those who are looking for a pink or a red, but at the same time it would satisfy those who like something a little different because it is one of those shimmery polishes that just pops off of the nails. And then finally, I really can't decide between Isti and Lottie. They're really gorgeous. I probably would go with Lottie because it just, I don't know, it's just such a delicate shade. It almost reminds me of like the glass ornament on your tree that you put up top because you don't want it to break. Absolutely don't want it to break. That's what this reminds me of, but you could easily put Isti in there as well and have a beautiful 6-piece collection. I think given the fact that we already have some bluer tones with the emerald green, with Meredith, and with Nisha, I would probably go with Lottie. So those are my thoughts on the collection. I would love to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the collection as a whole? What did you think about the polishes? Which one was your favorite? Have you purchased any of these? Please leave all of that and much more in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one very soon.